My name is Maeve Whelan. I'm a specialist chartered physiotherapist in women's health and incontinence. I have been working in the field for 25 years. I lecture in the area of women's health and incontinence, and I teach nationally and internationally. I teach colleagues the skills around women's health and incontinence. I set up Milltown Physiotherapy Clinic in 1993, and I have been here ever since. What is important to me in women's health and what I have learned over the last 25 years is the importance of preventative treatment within women's health and not just treating people when they come in with the problems. And it's a little bit around that I'd like to talk about now. The pelvic floor becomes quite reactive and quite taut as a result of being overloaded. It can become overloaded through posture and alignment around the hips and through instability at the pelvis. So if somebody walks or if somebody runs a lot, then the pelvic floor muscles become overloaded. They work a little bit harder to try and compensate for what's going on around these postural alignments. So what happens is the muscles work a little bit harder, they become a little bit more taut, and eventually you might become more symptomatic. Symptomatic means that you might develop some back pain, some hip pain, some discomfort around the pelvic floor. There may be some incontinence, some pelvic organ feeling of something coming down, and even bowel control issues and generalized pain around the pelvic floor and perineum. So what we want to do is try and support the pelvic floor as much as possible, and this is where EVB sport shorts can be a really good idea. So if you're lifting the pelvic floor, this offloads the pelvic floor organs and the fascia, which is the soft tissue in between the organs, which hold the organs together and the organs up against the side walls of the pelvis, and then also offloads the pelvic floor muscles. So this enables the pelvic floor muscles to work better in supporting the organs, and that may prevent the pelvic floor muscles from becoming tense and too taut and therefore becoming that little bit more symptomatic. So if we go on a little bit and talk more now about the core muscles, and the core is going to support in the holding together of the tummy and the pelvic floor and the spine and provide stability around the pelvis. So if somebody runs and or does power walking or fast walking, and if the core stability isn't there, once again the muscles around the spine, the pelvis, the pelvic floor, the hips can start becoming overworking, becoming too tight. If we then start overholding and compensating for all of this instability that's there, we can start developing more problems. We don't want to hold on too tight, we don't want to pull the tummy muscles in harder, we don't want to pull the pelvic floor muscles in harder. So EVB sport shorts, once worn, can facilitate the drawing in of the tummy, can lift up the pelvic floor so that they are now helping you to support your core so that you don't go ahead and start pulling in too hard and making your problems worse. But what's important to know is that they are facilitating and helping you to learn. They're not doing it for you and they're not making you lazy. So in conjunction with learning with your chartered physiotherapist who either specialises in musculoskeletal problems or in women's health and incontinence, you can learn how to do these exercises yourself, and then you're also learning from how the sport shorts hold you in position. And I can assure you, once you try EVB sport shorts and wear them once, you're not going to want to go out without them again.